Hey, so guys, John here. Retirees are walking into a crisis right now.
The national average for one person to live comfortably in retirement, roughly $967,000 in savings.
A significant number of older people are far from reaching that savings goal. 27% of all Americans have no retirement savings.
We are seeing 401ks, IRAs, we're seeing retirement plans being liquidated to offset the rising cost of inflation.
More Americans are borrowing from their future to pay for their present.
Americans turning to early withdrawals from their 401k to cover emergency expenses.
Many retirees are even getting jobs as a Walmart greeter. They're doing whatever they possibly can to try to make ends meet and to try to survive in this expensive world. But what if I were to tell you there's some new laws that are being built out right now as I make this video that are going to cost retirees tens of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, and every other American is going to be facing the same exact problems. But when you look at what retirees are going through, coupled with the fact that Social Security is set to run out in 10 years, what you're going to start to see here is a mass pool of home inventory that's going to start to hit the market. In this video, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to show you the facts, show you exactly what these laws are on whitehouse.gov. I'm going to show you all of the sources, and you can see things for how they really are, exactly what's really happening in this economy. Please hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate the people about what's going on in America. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we would love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in a credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session for Monday. Take a look at this. So 401k hardship withdrawals surge to another record high, right? As inflation stinks. Americans are 3x likely to take a hardship withdrawal February 22nd. Then you have this scenario here. Roughly 15,950 retirees, they withdrew money from their 401k plans that cover hardship in the second quarter, up 36%. Then the third quarter. Look at this. Increasingly, there hasn't been the case for many, that hasn't been the case for many Americans. In the third quarter, 2.3% of workers took a hardship withdrawal from their retirement savings, according to recent data from Fidelity. That's up 1.8% during the same quarter of last year. Some of these decisions have lifetime consequences. Now, presently in America, 1 in 6 people are of 65 in age, that age group or older, right? Which is 55 million Americans. And this is according to census.gov, 55 million Americans. Presently, just over half of Americans over the age of 65 are earning under $30,000 a year. Now, how many people can live making less than $30,000 a year? $2,500 a month. I mean, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, people could swing it. They could probably figure a way to try to make that work. Today, $30,000 a year, they say you have to make over $100,000 just to afford the average home in America. So when you start to look at this scenario, what you're going to start to see here is a very, very big problem when this is coupled with this scenario here, that a recent report found that starting in 2034, retirees will only receive part of their benefits, according to CNBC. And 40.2% of retirees receive all of their income from Social Security. So when you see this pie chart right here showing the pool of home ownership, there's people under the age of 25, this is 35 to 44, 45 to 54. From here all the way to here, which is about 55% of all homes in America, are owned by that specific segment, 55 and older. What you're going to start to see here is a lot of distress starting to be built out inside of America's housing market, without doubt. So presently in America, there's 129 million housing units, right? 129 million housing units, and 82 million of them are single-family homes. So when you're looking at the numbers, 45 million, give or take, of these homes are owned by retirees, and a lot of these retirees are in a really, really bad spot. So when you start to look at that, coupled with these new laws, what you're going to start to see is a fire sale. Like, that's what you're going to start to see here. Right now, they're saying older Americans spend an average of $57,000 in 2022. So think about that. $55,000 in 2022, meaning just to make it 10 years, they'd have to have $578,000 just to make it. That's if inflation does not get worse. That's if, insurance does not get absolutely crazy, which, America is running out of homeowners insurance. If car insurance and taxes don't go up, food prices don't go up, and we all know it's going to go up. So when you start to look at this situation, retirees are going to, walk into a problem when right now already half of boomers and late Gen Xers who took out early retirement during the first wave have already fallen into poverty. When you start looking at this new push onto property. This new push that's going to be the final nail in the coffin for retirees. So the new energy saving standard for washing machines and dryers are harmful, right, according to this expert. And this is going to take effect in the next 4 years. But look at this. Energy.gov, DOE finalized efficiency standards for residential clothes washers and dryers to save Americans billions on household energy and water bills. So what people need to look at is this scenario here. And I'm going to show you whitehouse.gov what they're saying here. So they say that there's a summit, and it's their climate summit, which is right now more than 25 states and territories, tribal nations, underscores the administration's commitment to solutions that will both dramatically reduce greenhouse and better manage climate, and recognize the importance of locally tailored, community-driven strategies. And so what they say here is with over 130 million existing buildings, which collectively cost over $400 billion a year to heat, cool, light, and power, and 10 million new homes to be constructed in the next 6 years, establishing a consistent uniform target will accelerate climate progress by driving investments into homes and buildings of the future, which people are going to need money to pay for. And so when you look at this, the members of this, like for example, look at a place like California, and this is on the website here. You can see it, U.S. Climate Alliance. What they say here is that here, electric utility energy efficiency resource standards, gas energy efficiency resource standards, appliance energy efficiency standards, the green or resilient infrastructure, right? Electricity, 100%. These are all the new changes that are going to be coming. So you start to look at this. You got to have money to do it, right? You have to have money to do it. And so here are some of the locations: Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Guam, Michigan, Massachusetts, Maryland, Maine, Illinois, Hawaii, Minnesota, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, Wisconsin, Washington, Vermont, Rhode Island, Puerto Rico, Pennsylvania. So these are some of them, right? These are some of them. And so when you see that, you're like, okay, well, is it going to be, is it going to be cheap? How much is this actually going to cost? Well, I'm going to get into that in just a second. Before I do, I want to show you and also I'm going to pull this down so you can see the URLs, because, sources matter. So what they say is that without the adoption, it's basically going to cost us 4.2% of GDP. Roughly half of the world's population currently experiences severe water scarcity. 1 billion in low-lying cities, including small islands, will be at risk of this. So what that means is insurance is going to be going up in a lot of areas. Globally, we're projected to lose 7 to 10% of livestock. And, in the next 26 years, more than 78.4 million internal, people are basically moving everywhere. So all of this is going to change a lot of America. It's going to change a lot of the world's economy, how we do business, how we do commerce, how we live, how we get energy, what we eat. Everything is going to be changing. So when you look at that, coupled with, this plan, by the way, this is 4 years ago. So, and this has been in the works, right? This has been in the works. So over the next 11 years, this is what's going to happen. And so here's how this works. I just searched, I was curious. How much will a steak cost in the next 6 years? And this is what came up. This is going to be competitive in 2030, right? This lab grown, right? Expected to drop dramatically in price. Everything is about that. Everything is about that. So when you see this situation, this scenario, what you're going to start to see is that food that certain people would prefer to eat is just going to get more expensive. Like, you're not going to go to, people today are complaining Five Guys is $25 for, a small soda and a double cheeseburger and a fry. Look, in the next 5 years, to have that same type of burger, I can promise you is not going to be $25. I mean, look at that price 5 years ago, might have been $13 or $14, right? In 5 years from now, it's going to be 55 or 60 or 70. It's going to get much, much, much more expensive, right? Everything is going to continue to get more expensive. That's why I've been talking a lot about this massive wealth transfer, because I don't think a lot of people realize the severity of what is actually going to happen in the U.S. economy. For example, just to do this retrofit, they say is 40 to 50 grand a house, $40 to $50,000 a home. Upfront costs by the major barrier of upgraded home. This is what they're saying. Imagine if you start to see millions of people rushing to the floodgates to do these upgrades, trying to make this work. Do you think it's going to be 40 to 50K? What if we start seeing inflationary costs go up with a lot of these materials? I'm betting it's going to likely eventually be more. In the next couple of years. I got a quote on a remodel of a property just a couple days ago, and the cost of this remodel was twice was twice what I would have paid 5 years ago, right? So everything is just getting extremely expensive. And so when they quote you 40 to 50K, I'm betting it's going to be more than that, right? So I think what we're going to start to see here is a lot of changes unfolding in this economy, that people that are educated, they're really looking at the real facts as to what's going on, looking at the amount of wealth that's being held right now by consumers. 17 trillion in wealth is being held. Most people don't have, $1,000. Most people don't have $1,000. A lot of people are, worried about losing their jobs. How are we not going to see all of these curveballs hitting this economy that where millions aren't prepared for it, right? Retirees, I think, are going to be, they're going to be, they're first in line for this, right? They're on the front lines of this whole type of, this whole scenario. It's a sad situation because they've worked so hard. They've contributed so much to this country. They've done so much for America. And at the back end of it, they get stiffed, right? That's what's happening. They're getting, they thought they worked their whole life to have 20, 30 years to live a really, really nice life with their grandkids and be able to go on vacation, do all these things. And now many of them are just going to be barely trying to hold on just to survive. So my advice is the next couple of years, if you're very smart, you're very strategic, we're going to see this big change in the economy where it's going to be the have-nots, which is going to be like 99 or probably 95% of the population. And then there's going to be the have-yachts, people that, have a few $1,000,000 that are, have an online business, they have flexibility, and it's not too late. Like with the power of online, there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity. I think the next couple of years is going to be extremely important. And those that are really disciplined and focused and really building out long-term plans to build out a moat of safety around yourself, around the insanity, you're going to thank yourself forever. What do you think about this entire situation? Where do you see this all going? Drop below, let's have a conversation about this. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for this massive wealth transfer, this massive transfer of assets, you're going to want exceptional credit. Ask yourself the big question. If you were a bank, would you want to finance you? If you have a credit score in the 500s, 600s, low 700s, mid 700s, go to GreatCreditFast.com, click the link in the description just below this video, schedule a free strategy session. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or you just don't know why your credit score is where it should be or where it is right now and you want to change that, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Catch you next video.